Welcome back, everybody, to the adventures of Lassie, Lukánthrōpos, priestess and ruler of a random city, actually, on the island of Crete. Before we go too far into today's episode, very quickly, just because the schedule is going to be a bit weird, obviously this episode's coming out late as well. Long story short, woke up this morning and my face, basically on the right-hand side from my chin up to my temple, has gone completely numb. I've got an emergency appointment tomorrow to get x-rays and stuff, and then basically potentially surgery after that. Or at the very least, some very, very, very strong painkillers. As a result, content is probably going to be a bit strange. Like, schedule's going to be all over the place, that type of thing. So I'll just apologize in advance, basically. I can't promise anything. It'll basically be as and when I am, you know, up for it. So if everybody could leave big sympathy comments about how difficult it is to play a video game, that would be great. Thank you. Oh, fuck. Let's recap the story of mighty Lassie so far. She was born at the age of 16, which I assume was incredibly mentally and physically traumatizing to her mother, to the extent that her poor mother died, leaving her alone in the world. The first thing she does? Boom. Marry the famous, legendary blacksmith, King Minos, or he wasn't at the time, but now he is. Minos of Astala, or Astale, I don't know how you say it. The genius man, and together, 4 lovely children. Toto, Babe, Lady, and Lassie Jr. Left alone in this cruel, cruel world, I can only assume by her mother quite literally ripping in half, she befriended her fellow vassals, her neighbors, except for this person. I really, of all the people to click, that was probably the worst one. Her liege, and, but I think to some extent, her mentor, Dictina. Oh no. This is really not going well, is it? Archpriestess Dictina of Crete, the current queen and ruler of the mighty island. High Priestess Argia of Zakros, and, of course, her husband and best friend, Minos. Then she was bit by a werewolf, and that's when things started to get a little bit weird. At the very end, of course, of yesterday, she was fighting on the battlefields. Argia, her loyal bodyguard, both of them bleeding out, defeated. But Argia gave her life and her power to Lassie to turn her into the first ever furry ruler of Crete. And then she bit her husband because, you know, it's a party and everyone's invited. Now we are we're the only and first Lycan dynasty in the world, and we will be we're the kind of progenitor of Lycanism on the planet at this stage. The AI can't randomly get Lycanism, but if an AI character gets it through inheritance from our dynasty, they can confer it. So that's worth bearing in mind. We could see this as a very sacred family, secret family tradition. Be very careful with who we confer Lycanism to. Be careful with who we marry off matrilineally, non-matrilineally in the case, of course, males. We've got to be very careful that we don't accidentally gift other dynasties this mighty blood that we've, of course, started with here. So, got to be very, very cautious of that. More to the point, our 4 kids so far, of course, don't have it. So, immortals and humans can't breed, but because both of them now are Lycans, he survived the transition into a woe furry fella. So now whenever they had kids, I believe they start immediately with the Lycan trait. However, we can try and confer lycanthropy to our children, and their chance of survival is based purely on their traits. So handsome, genius, fecund, pure-blooded. Quite a high chance for success here, but as those traits, unless we really pay attention to those traits and stay on top of those traits, they are going to slowly... I mean, I imagine this kid has only a genius, probably, yeah, you can see that 3% difference just from the fact that he doesn't have, you know, pure-blooded, I assume, is the only thing that makes a difference, to be honest with you. 14% chance, so actually Fecund does have some value there. The youngest child only has a 10% chance of dying, weirdly enough. Okay, I think we'll just try and convert all of them. If they die, they weren't worthy of it. I think that's the fairest point. As Hal said, apparently we can also use a hook on people there to force them to take on the lycanthropy. So we do have kind of an interesting inheritance system too, I guess. Let's see if we survive it then. So 4 kids, around anywhere between 10 to 16% chance with the 4 kids. There's a good chance here. There's 50% chance one of these kids is gonna die. Let's see how we do. Boom. Good luck, little Toto. He survived it. Okay. Toto accepted the gift of lycanthropy and became a Lycan. There he is. Babe. Confer. 19% chance on Babe. So highest chance here. Babe survived. Oh, man, that was tense there for a second, huh? Then we've got Lady. Lady is up next, 14%. Are we going to get a full house here? Lady also survived. And then the final one, Lassie Jr., 10% chance of her dying. My God, we've actually done it. That was fortunate. We got ourselves a full house. Now, of course, that does come with some negatives here. So immortal infertility there gives a minus 30%. And I believe that's stacking as well. I think in the game rules they talked about that briefly, how it increases with the amount of kids that you've got, or something to that effect. It might just be a flat minus 30, depending on how you set it up. Yeah, see, we've only got minus 20. That one's minus 30. You're minus 30, you're minus 30. I wonder how that works then. Weird. There's obviously some separate systems governing. Yeah, see, he's got minus 30 as well. I don't know what causes that. But there we are. So I assume we now count as the sire of the first generation of Lycans there. Wow, this is interesting. So we're OG Lycan, and then of course we got a husband and 4 kids there with the blood too. I almost feel like, memes aside, this is the perfect campaign to bring in divine marriage. Close kin marriage, that type of thing, where we've got this actual key aspect to our dynasty here that we have to guard very, very carefully because it is a massively powerful bonus that we've got. We've got to be very careful that we don't accidentally outbreed it. We've got to be very careful we don't end up with, like, say Toto gets lustful or something, we end up with a load of bastards running around who have that Lycan blood and claims. That could end up being pretty devastating, especially if one disappears or we can't get to them and they just live forever and get stronger and stronger and stronger and then come back. We could have a real problem on our hands there. Now, the other thing we did here, very secretly, in the background, of course, was we started working on claiming the throne of Crete. We are an excellent diplomat. It's about all we've really got going for us right now, except for the excellent learning, the excellent stewardship, the excellent martial, and the okay intrigue. Besides that, though, we're in a lot of trouble. So we've got a 90% chance here to get an oppressed claim on the kingdom of Crete. I still don't know why that counts as pressed, to be honest with you. Doesn't really make much sense, does it? But hey, we can grab that, and then we can try and just get ourselves elected without even raising so much as a single troop. We might, through the power of our words alone, get ourselves on the kingdom. Did we get it? Oh, we actually failed. Wow. 90% chance there to succeed, and we missed it. So what we gained luck there in all the kids surviving, we've obviously expended on trying to get this, trying to get our kingdom. So we've got to wait another 17 months now, potentially. Of course, the RNG can play a different aspect in that, just to see where we end up. And the first ever full-blooded werewolf is about to be born. Wow. Sorry, Lycan. Of course, I should say Lycan. Okay, what do we want to go for now? So we don't have matriarch yet. I think we'll go with matriarch. Yeah, why not? That's okay. We could probably move away from family focus now. Someone did make this comment yesterday that fertility stacks at 100%, apparently in CK3. I personally didn't know that. But of course, with the minus 30%, our husband has the minus 20%, we have, etc. It was worth sticking with it for a while, but now we've got matriarch as well. We can move over. Probably go for like August. I don't think I've ever actually got the August trait in CK3. I'm not gonna lie, the name Proteus for the first ever full-blooded Lycan is pretty fucking awesome. What are we going to call you, though? Obviously, we have to go for big suggestion. I actually saw many comments pointing this out. Many people on Discord, too. Dog breeds. I quite like that. I think that's quite good. As long as we don't go, like, crazy with the dog breeds and have a kid called, like, you know, Labradoodle Lukánthrōpos. Although it does sound pretty good, doesn't it? Now that I've said that out loud. Labradoodle Lukánthrōpos. Yeah. You know what? I'm in. Labradoodle. Didn't take much convincing. Labradoodle? Yeah, it's Labradoodle. May you grow strong and wise, my son, or, alternatively, we'll throw them in the river. The question is, do we want to keep this kid? We do gain prestige, of course, for disposing of children. Sorry, piety, for disposing of children. But because we are compassionate, because we are the matriarch, we should really keep that kid, right? But maybe when we end up playing as the next generation characters, then... Oh, wow! Scheme was discovered, too. We're really not getting very lucky with this at all, huh? 90% chance, again, to try and claim Crete. Come on. Hey, there we go. She's obviously very upset by that. Nothing she can do to stop us. Nothing she can do to stop us, I'm afraid. Well, let's go to the election then and see if we can get ourselves on board. High Priestess Lassie, or soon-to-be High Priestess Lassie. This is us. Vote. Oh, look at the votes coming in now. All that befriending yesterday, winning over all those vassals, working on our diplomacy, massively paid off. All of them are on board with the new Lassie Queen. Before we expand out And before we, before we potentially make our move on deposing the current ruler and setting ourselves up as the queen of Crete, I actually did watch some content. A lot of people linked me a lot of stuff about the Minoan civilization. Apparently, the kind of palace here in Knossos, or just Knossos, I have no idea. But apparently, it's this massively expansive palace, like gigantic for the time period, and I assume that's what this special building is here. It's probably the palace, right? I would love to get Knossos, the capital of the island, if we can possibly grab that. There's a theory as well that the size of the palace was the real life inspiration for the labyrinth, King Minos' labyrinth, which is also why we're playing here, just in case you didn't realize. That's why I decided, hey, we need some animal people on this island, because it is the island of animal people. So, let's go for... what do we want to do with you? We're getting you managing domain right now, huh? To be honest, it really wouldn't hurt, because what I want to do is fabricate a claim on the capital, and I want to try and take it if we can. I think that'd be massively ideal. If we fabricate a claim on it, depose her, however we happen to do that. You know, if we start moving down to August, where our character views herself as that kind of destined leader, down through true ruler, you know, inspiring rule, write our own history, life of glory, it all makes a lot of sense for then deposing her, putting ourselves in as king, and then we can revoke the capital and make it our own, and actually build that palace. Look at that too. Immortal prowess increase. Your powers have grown. What does that do for us? I mean, obviously it's prowess, right? That just shouldn't come as a shot, really. Look at that. That's cool. So, because we have had 7 years of immortality right now. 7 years of immortality? Really? That seems to have gone by bloody fast, huh? Wow, yeah, that did go by fast. Is that right? I'm not entirely sure. We do get +2 there. I guess we could just go by Argia's age, right? When she died. That would make the most sense. Right, take a look at you. When did you die? Yeah, that's not 7 years. Oh, I wonder if the reverse date system is going to have some weirdness associated with that. Because, of course, we're counting backwards, right? So 1576, 1575, 1574, etc. I wonder if that's going to have some strange side effects on the... Well, yeah, weird. Okay. So it thinks we've had 7 years. Obviously, we haven't. Because our character is also massively skilled at stewardship, we picked ourselves up a stewardship point here. So, chains of loyalty. That seems pretty nice. Now, especially if we end up forming our own religion. Of course, it's going to be a big part of this playthrough. We've got access to this massively revamped religion system where we can get all sorts of crazy stuff. Change to deities and everything. All these big words that I'm not going to try and pronounce. We've got massive flexibility here. We could set ourselves up as, you know, the true rulers. They're given as a gift by the gods to the people. Be nice and brave, wouldn't it, for a CK series? Establishing yourself as a god. What a shocker. Right, Toto, what's wrong with you? Shy would be pretty crippling for a diplomacy character, wouldn't it? Impatient. Learning's down. Learning affects education quite significantly in CK3, so I'd rather avoid that if possible. Village vassal, opinion -5, hostile, scheme power 15%, it's not terrible. Gluttonous? Stewardship is lower, but that doesn't necessarily have the negative that Shy and Impatient does. Especially because he's already got Patient. I'd much rather keep that. I think we're going to have to go Gluttonous. It's the only good option there. Oh dear. Well, lately it feels like I'm being distracted with lascivious thoughts and erotic fantasies. Is it of a big bull? With the hardships of everyday life. I meant that as in, like, the story of... I realize that that's now a term in 2020. Like you know, the Minotaur and all that. You get me, I hope. These desires are interfering with my life. What should I do about them? We could go and become rakish. Go and have a bit of a diddle down in the brothel. I feel like it's very dangerous, seeing as... You know, we've got this mighty powerful blood that if falls into the wrong hands would be fairly terrible. Reclusive. Lose a friend, though. Bite my lip and try and stay focused. Yeah, just suck it up. Suck it up. We'll have a feast. You love feasts. There you go. No, not a problem. Just a little bit of a tasty snack. Tasty snack and an opportunity for 150 prestige by... Look, calm yourself. Prukian Leontius and our husband are arguing. Realistically, we should probably back our husband there, seeing as he's also our best friend. But you know what? As the fine diplomat she is, we'll talk about this later. 150 prestige for that is so nuts. And another 150 prestige for having a nice feast in the first place. There is the capital, ours. Excellent. Okay. So then. How do you want to go about this? Shit. Okay, hang on then. I'm thinking, why don't we try and take one of our neighboring states first? Because we're going to need help here. We're not just going to be able to I mean, we could go for the murder, but it's very unlikely we're going to succeed. And we're compassionate and just, so it would be completely against our character, and it would stress her out entirely. This is going to be fairly tricky, isn't it? We could just outlive her. She is, however, 34, and that's a significant time investment. We can go for this, but it's going to be very difficult to pull in allies, isn't it? Okay, well, let's go to all the other fellow vassals, make sure they're befriended. That seems like a fairly safe initial bet here. So you're already good friends with us, right? Oh, wait, shit, no, it's you. Sorry, my bad. So I'm expecting them to be a higher tier, my bad. Yes, we can't do anything with you. You are fellow vassal, right? That seems like a... Oh, you actually failed at befriending her. Well, that's a bloody surprise. Okay, what about over here, then? You're already our friend. The only other options, then, are Lictos and Elitherna. I think I would rather just conquer you, right? So we could always try and sway you, win you over, and then we'll get some claims on this one and just go and conquest it, bring it into our realm, go in with as many troops as possible. If we can work on... Actually, to be fair, if we keep them on the domain, if we try and collect as much gold as possible, too, that's the one thing we're going to have over the AI. What's our standing army like? We'd have to go for some real hefty troops to make this worthwhile, wouldn't we? Early hoplites aren't bad. The Aegean macemen aren't bad either. 4078. So hoplites are superior to macemen in every way. Hoplites are also superior to swordsmen. Okay, with the exception maybe of terrain effects. No, they get the same bonus in terrain as well. Axemen are... Let's just take a look here. Are way worse than hoplites. Spearmen, way worse than hoplites, have the same screen value. Bowmen have higher screen, but that's because they're bloody bowmen. Yeah, hoplites are ridiculously strong compared to every other, besides bowmen, and of course counters taken into account. These are definitely what we want to go for, I think. So I'm going to invest a little bit into some hoplites. How much realistically can we afford? That's all we can afford. When they're reinforced, hopefully it won't be so bad here. Oh, shit. Right, our learning's 18 too, right? So we've unlocked a learning perk here as well. What should we go for? I feel like Pedegady, Pet the Doggy, is probably better for us here. What's additional... I mean, of course, we're going to educate all of our kids because we are an incredible educator. High learning, 28 in our primary stat. We've got genius too. And a diplomacy perk. Very good. Okay. Inspiring rule. See, August, I've always kind of avoided because it never seems very good until we get right to the bottom... Right down to the bottom levels here. So level of fame impact, of course. Diplomacy per level of fame is quite fantastic. The commission epic is really, really good for grinding renown. If you're really looking to get into those dynasty trees. On actual August itself, what does that do? Prestige, diplomacy. Ugh. Yeah, it's so lackluster compared to some of the others, isn't it? Priestess Harpuia. Welcome. Join me. And there is... My god, you see how fast that claim ticks up there? My god. That was insane. Similar size. Well, let's give our... I assume they need a little bit longer to reinforce. No, we're actually maxed out there, huh? I want to get some bowmen into the fray. So we'll save up so many gold. We'll get some bowmen in there too, and then we could check out counters for the rest of the troops. We could just stick with hoplites, probably be fine, but I'll see if there are any significant counters. You know, if something doesn't have any... If there's no overlap on the Venn diagram between, like, counters that hoplites give and one of the others, more than happy to throw some of those into the mix. True ruler. Offer vassalization acceptance plus 25. That seems to be a lot easier in CK3, I will admit. You know, obviously they actually notify you about that now, which is quite nice. So it does seem to be something... Maybe just notice it more frequently. I'm not entirely sure. Hello. How are you coming out then? Toto Lukánthrōpos. Deceitful, gluttonous, and patient. Deceitful for a diplomacy character? Not ideal. Honest is not bad if we want to stick just purely to diplomacy. Or humble. Opinion of arrogant characters minus 15. I don't like the idea of nerfing their diplomacy. I don't like the idea of particularly nerfing... Diplomacy and intrigue go hand in hand, right? So I think I'm going to go for humble here instead. Just because it has quite a nice amount of bonuses too. Their opinion of liege, opinion of vassals. Obviously, it's his opinion of them. We can now commission the mighty epic of the Lukánthrōpos dynasty. 150 prestige. Of course, we get the renown there as well. Prestige per month is pretty good. At least as I recall, we get the renown, don't we? I am going to pay every penny in our treasury for this. I know I said I wanted bowmen. We can do both. We can do both and just kind of take the debt on the chin if we're quick. Give me some bowmen then. And then we'll commission it anyway. Throw ourselves in debt for a little while, but I'm sure we'll be alright. Family Epic seems to be progressing well, and some lines are already like they will be quoted for decades to come. But Prosimnos has a lot of questions about the focus of the story. Focus on me and my destiny. I mean, to be fair, it's a good thing to write a chapter on, but maybe not the whole book. Because we are a matriarch, we gain stress for that. It's a family history, so be generous. Yeah, I agree. Let's go for the renown. We need to build this dynasty up. We need to make the world see how good they truly are. Getting honesty for 10 years. Personal scheme plus 20. Okay, and learning lifestyle. Or we gain 75 renown. Ah! Because, of course, the magical sword. Do you guys remember the magical... Of course you guys remember the magical sword. Speaking of magical sword, we're pregnant again. Brilliant. Nice work. Oh, hello. Right, okay. That a devotee renowned for his illuminations is staying in the town of Axos. Okay. Lose 50 gold with chance for an exceptional epic. Prosimnos can do it himself. Or, you know what? Another 50 gold. Another 50 gold. We don't really need to do much else for the gold right now, huh? My spy master seems to be the latest person to have read excerpts from the family epic. Your great-great-grandmother was a fascinating and resourceful figure, she tells me. If we let it be known that you're even half as underhanded as she, people would think twice before acting against you. The blood of the snake is flowing through my veins. Gain 10 dread, stories of intrigue, or 300 lifestyle experience. Or, we claim that she was honorable and upstanding. Ooh, that's a tricky one. That's a tricky one. I think I would prefer stories of intrigue, hostile scheme. No, you know what? Honorable and upstanding. Let's not have the people doubt us here. We were put here for a reason, and that reason was to rule. And I don't think we need to murder to do that. Well, not with our intrigue score quite yet. Let's put it that way. And there we are. Commissioner Family Epic. We gain 75 prestige, and we gain the 75 renown, and it is an epic chronicle. Unless that's not a rating and is in fact quite literally exactly what it is. My ancestors stand at its core as a shining example of what it means to be a ruler for out time? For out time? Sorry? Okay. Even if it drags on in a few... Did you fucking proofread this? Prosimnos? I've got my realm in debt for you and you can't even... Oh my... Unbelievable. Commissioner Family Epic. Luckily, no one can read, so we haven't got anything to worry about. Oh, we can keep him out of court. You know what? I'm going to keep you around. Welcome. Welcome. How about for, like, exceptional family members, for exceptional NPCs, we could offer them the gift. We could confirm lycanthropy, couldn't we? I'm not sure about that one, though. It seems like it would have to be an epic reward, like if someone saves the dynasty or something crazy like that. Similar to how we got the lycanthropy. You know, if we were going to do that for someone else, maybe then, but only then. I'm not just going to give it to this guy because he wrote a book good that had bloody spelling errors in it. With his coming of age, my tuition of Toto is at an end. With sufficient tutelage, even a child that displayed a little natural inclination... Oh! I started reading that and I was like, oh no. But no, he is Grey Eminence. They grow up so fast. Look at that. 20 diplomacy. We've got 29. To be fair, we've also got, you know, just, compassionate, traits, and yada, yada, yada. I have high hopes for you. I have very high hopes for you, Toto. You know what helps with wanton murder? Being likable. That's always pretty good, huh? Aaron married. Right, who are we going to marry you off to then? We have to be very careful about this one, don't we? Firstly, they need to be good. You know, we're not here to marry for alliances. We don't really care about these other realms. You know, the realm of Crete here, of the Minoan people, are way ahead of everyone else. So we don't really care for them too much in that regard. But I think we should look out for geniuses, things like that. Speaking of which, then, let's take a look. Genius, what have we got? 14 years of age. I mean, it's not that massive. It's 2 years of an age gap. What's this? Wild oat. Whoa, look at that hat. I need no more convincing. I don't care if you're barley or whatever it was. I'm gonna... That hat, brother. Holy shit. Oilius. What a terrible name. But a good kid, though. Genius and handsome. Oilius, the first thing that came to my mind was Schnauzer. Schnauzer. May he grow strong and wise, my son. It's very difficult to say when my face is in just fucking a lot of pain, to be honest with you. Dignitas. It's probably where I'm going to end up by the end of the week. Diplomacy level per fame +1, or Life of Glory, level of fame aspect +100. Really makes very little difference, doesn't it? Diplomacy level per level of fame +1. I suppose at least that has some tangible benefit. We're up to 31 now. What is our level of fame? Which one's fame? This one here, isn't it? Distinguished. The third level of fame. +3. I'll take it. Not fantastic. Ooh, hello. Petty King Minos' diligent administration of the household finances. There is more gold at the end of the season than expected. Host a magnificent dinner party to the delight of all. Invest some money in the local area. To be fair, I mean, development and growth would make a lot of sense for this island, seeing as it's kind of supposed to be in its golden age. What else we got here? Increase defenses for 5 years, or we gain the 50. I'll take the 50. Get us out of debt. Let's pay off a family epic. Let's pay off the bowman as well. So we're in quite good hands there. They can already, they can already marry. Look at that. Keep ingenious. Of course, chance at fecund, pure-blooded, and handsome as well there. Spouse has a helping hand on Prukian Leontius. Prukian Leontius, who are you? Oh, my Chancellor and Vassal. Sorry, I thought it was the guy who wrote the epic then. A good deed needs no repayment. 10 opinion or a weak hook. I think I'll take the... Well, we don't really need the opinion, but I think I like the idea of not being massively manipulative early on. There's no reason. You know, what are we going to do with that? Oh, shit. Our second kid. Look at this. What a gilded dynasty. Babe, pig in the city. Pig outside of the city, sieging your city down, brother. Military engineer and brilliant strategist. What an incredible kid. Look at that. I'm very impressed. Life of Glory, and then the final one we've got there is August, filling our second diplomacy tree. So we might have to start going into intrigue if we want to obviously grab the island for ourselves. Oh, what's it think our... out of pure curiosity, what does it think our... Years of Immortality 13, and Osiris has gone blank. Yeah, I can only assume that's because of the... well, firstly, the character would have been pruned from the game. 13. That's still not right, though, is it? It should be 11. Weird. It's not really that far out, and it wouldn't be ticking up... You know, it would still go up just one a year, regardless, because the event, I assume, will just fly once per year. I have no idea. I have no idea what's going on there. It doesn't really matter too much anyway. Here we go. August. Thank you, my friend. Look at that. I don't think I've ever had the August trait before, so that's quite a cool one. She is honored as a true ruler, worthy of the empires of old. What empires are those you're speaking of? Maybe it's like prophetic, you know? Maybe like we will become the ruler of the empire of old, you know, like the first one. Obviously there have been empires, but I mean like the big one, the first one. What are we going to do then? We can marry someone called Ars, which I will admit I'm not a big fan of. You've got genius, so I mean any character of intellect would be quite helpful. Intellect, so we go intelligent. Cassiopeia or no, that's not going to work. I think it'd be better to go for like fecund and or attractive or beautiful, just specifically to go for the obviously massive number of children rather than specifically going for, oh god, this is crap. Oh, now here's another thing that's worth mentioning. Of course, humans and immortals, in this case us Lycans, can't have kids together. Which means if we want, nice beard, if we want Toto to have a son, Toto, we're going to have to bite or confer on immortality to Zophiris. We can also invite them to join house. Oh, cool. So that way, so we can bring them into the house. And that way, if they do end up... Oh, that's a fun idea, huh? So that means if they do end up leaving the house, they've kind of sworn themselves in by blood to our dynasty. So if they do end up having kids... we've still got to be very careful, naturally. Oh, but of course they can't have kids unless they also confer immortality. But I assume she can confer it, though. That's the only thing I'm concerned about. So it's a bit hit and miss. We would have to cut off loose ends if it started going that way. You know, if these ended up divorcing or he ended up dying or something like that, we would have to try and actively bring about her end, unless we get her to join the house. Man, this is tricky. I don't really know how best to go about this. We can try and get a hook on her. I think that's the way to do it to start off with. So we'll try and befriend her. And then maybe when we can get her into the house, then we'll offer her as a kind of gift for joining us, joint blood and all that. She can also become a wolf. I like that idea. Let's stick to that then. Intricate web weaver. Okay, not bad. Not fantastic, but not bad for a kid that, I will admit, I forgot to educate. Or more specifically, we didn't really have anyone to educate her, because our husband was educating to, we were educating to. So I had to take over right at the end there. So, Labradoodle should be being educated, yes, and then Schnauzer is also being educated. Okay, good shit. Just wanted to make sure that everything was all together. The amount of kids you can see here has dropped off drastically now that, of course, we moved away from the family folks. We got the infertility as well there. -10, though. I don't know why hers is decreasing. The more years that she's living, I wonder if, then, the backwards date is fucking it slightly. Maybe it's taking the year that you became immortal minus your age or something like that, or the year you were born. I think it's supposed to be the longer you live, the more infertile you become. But because the date is, again, the opposite way around, it's actually reducing infertility the older we get. Which I guess you could say maybe it's the blood settling, or we're becoming older, and, you know, our body's adapting, or something like that. You know, we can headcanon that away, it's fine. One are over. That's a good first step. We are going to have to go into intrigue, and to be honest, I think now would be a good time to do it, huh? Rather than keep focusing on diplomacy, because we're already quite good. Diplomat, I don't even need to worry about that. You know, we're already a great ruler. We're good with our family. We're good with kind of our divine right to rule. I don't think we need to worry about, you know, becoming their pals or anything like that, becoming chummy with them. We could just have feasts and whatnot. So maybe going for skullduggery, and maybe heading down through schema. So it could have also gone like intimidation, temptation if it was necessary, but of course I think our fertility is again working a little bit backwards there, so that's not so much of a concern. Skullduggery for the agent acceptance as well. That way, if we do want to murder and move up, definitely start work on that tomorrow. I think now's a fun time to do it. You know, we've really laid a good foundation here. We've got the next generation dealt with quite nicely. Our character's doing insanely well. I think we'll try and move up. I think we'll work on our intrigue now and sort of see if eventually we can get up through here. A little bit more gold. Might not be too difficult to even... Oh, she's trusting too. Oh, talk about a foot in the door. Go ahead and leave it there for today. I normally like to throw in the occasional 40-minute episode or so into series, but I'm not going to be able to do it until I've, you know, heard back from x-rays and surgery and that type of thing as well. So hopefully I didn't sound too bad today. You know, I've been overemphasizing a lot of things, going a lot slower than I normally would, just so I don't accidentally crunch my teeth anymore, and it's a nightmare. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Hope you guys have enjoyed this one. Just very quickly, I'll probably pin this in the comment if I remember, but the video I watched on the Minoans, and it actually seems pretty good. The channel, that is, was by a channel called Fire of Learning. The video is quite literally called Europe's First Civilization, the Minoans documentary. They talk about the palace, especially, which is my personal goal. I like the sound of that, and again, it's a special building. That'd be so fun if the mod makers have actually included that, let alone, of course, actually paid homage to it. So that's what we'll try and go for then. Thank you all for watching. Hope you guys are enjoying this one. It's going to be a slower series, just basically through injury, and I know a lot of people have been asking for that for a while. So there you go. There's something. I guess we'll see how it goes. Hey, if you guys like it, we'll stick to the maybe slower pace for CK3, because it's already quite a rapid fire game, isn't it? Thank you to Amethyst Sea, The Dust of Time, Sweet Sea, Galaxy Wolf, Nemesis Rubius, Jan, Magos Adamandios, King Snitch Gaming, White Stormin, Moon Cult Leader, Nalmo, Demon Boy, Shotgun Diplomacy, Cat, Cyric 313, Boop, Hoofenspiel, Asa and the Cat, and Nikki Sticks, along with, of course, everybody at the executive producer tiers over on Coffee for the final month of Coffee before we move back to Patreon. Now that they've fixed everything over there and will make everything a lot easier, we're going to do actual polls and votes, and I'm looking forward to it already. The convenience. Thank you as well to Uvwave, Zafio, Horlin, Jonah, Batsman's Max, El Zilcho, Jesus, Nox Immortalis, The Gentleman, Grostronaut, Tom Page, Moondoggy, Marcel, Extra Smooth, and Aji Duma for their support over at Coffee as well. Thank you to all of you guys. See you all tomorrow for hopefully some more, you know, as long as I'm not laid out for the day.